Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're not going to talk about fairy tales. Instead, we're going to deconstruct what makes love last. We're moving past the poetic stuff to look at the real and, often challenging architecture of a strong relationship. You know, we often think of love as this bottomless well of affection and sacrifice, right? A constant flow of warmth and comfort. But what if that's not the whole story? What if that's actually an incomplete picture? In this explainer, we're going to dig into a different idea. That love, the kind that endures, isn't just a passive feeling that washes over you. Nope, it's a set of powerful, conscious choices. It's a practice, a skill you actually have to work at. Okay, let's dive right in. And to start, we're going to have to challenge one of our most basic ideas about what it really means to love someone. The core idea we're looking at is something called judicious giving. Now, that might sound a little cold or calculated, but it's not about that at all. It's about wisdom. It means understanding that real love isn't always about making someone feel good in the moment. Sometimes it's about what helps them grow in the long run. And check out the contrast here. On one side, you've got indulgent love. It only soothes, right? It avoids any kind of conflict and can, without meaning to, actually enable some pretty harmful patterns. But then you have wise love. Wise love understands that real growth needs a little bit of friction sometimes. It means being able to deliver a hard truth, with empathy, of course, for the other person's own good. And ultimately, that's the point. True, lasting love needs both. It needs that passion, that warmth of the heart, for sure. But it also has to have that steadiness of the hand, that thoughtful judgment to guide it. Without that steady hand, love can just fall apart. So, let's get practical. How does this all translate into the day-to-day work of a relationship? What are the actual tools you need to build this kind of love? Well, it boils down to 3 essential and, let's be honest, pretty unglamorous tools: compromise, tolerance, and forgiveness. Compromise isn't about giving up. It's about putting the relationship ahead of being right. Tolerance isn't just putting up with stuff. It's an active choice to accept someone for who they really are, flaws and all. And forgiveness? Wow, that's the toughest one. It's choosing to move on without needing to settle a score. And this just hits on such a humbling truth. A lasting relationship isn't built in those huge movie-style moments. It's built in the quiet buildup of thousands of tiny, conscious decisions to put the we before the me. This brings us to a really common trap that so many of us fall into. We confuse the wedding day, the big party, with the actual day in, day out marriage itself. I absolutely love this comparison. The wedding is like a flashbulb, one perfect, bright, amazing moment. But the marriage, that's the whole film strip. It's the long, rolling collection of ordinary, messy, wonderful, boring moments that all together tell the real story. The ceremony is just the prologue. The real marriage contract isn't some piece of paper. It's lived out and renewed every single day in these small, consistent actions. It's about who remembers to grab the ice cream, who changes their schedule for the kids, who knows how to soften their voice when things are tense. It's about choosing to turn toward your partner, especially when you're hurt. That's how you build real, earned trust. Okay, but what happens when that daily presence is just gone? What happens when love gets tested by the ultimate challenges, like massive distance, or even death? For this, let's look at a really profound example from the psychiatrist Viktor Frankl. When he was imprisoned in a Nazi concentration camp, in the most horrific circumstances you can imagine, he discovered something incredible about what love really is. He had no idea if his wife was even still alive. But he realized that almost didn't matter. The strength of his love, the way he could talk to her in his mind, that was untouchable. He discovered that the deepest kind of love isn't about physical presence. It lives in our spiritual core. I mean, think about that. It teaches us that a truly profound love creates a connection that separation just can't break. It becomes a part of you, this shared inner world that you carry with you no matter what. It can't be held hostage by time or distance. And all of this leads us to one final, absolutely crucial point that really ties it all together. To love it all, in any of these ways we've talked about, takes an enormous amount of courage. And here it is, the unavoidable truth. When you open yourself up to great love, you are also opening yourself up to the possibility of great pain. The two go hand in hand. Grief isn't a failure of love. It's the evidence of it. It's the receipt. We can try to protect ourselves by holding back, but that's just an illusion. To avoid love just to avoid pain means you miss out on the very experiences that make life rich and meaningful. To really love means you have to choose the whole thing, the good and the bad. And so, that's what we'll end on. Knowing that love and loss are two sides of the same coin. The greatest act of courage is to look that risk right in the eye, acknowledge the pain that might come, and still say yes. Choosing to love is choosing to live a full life.